Dalton Parker, and this is my fitness assessment assignment for PFTR 24-23. In this video, we will be doing some health-related fitness appraisals on Jacob Parker, the same person who I did the client interview with. These assessments are going to help determine some physiological data which will give us an indication of where to begin designing his program. The first assessment that we are going to be doing is resting heart rate, or RHR. Heart rate is the number of times the heart beats in a minute, and it's measured in beats per minute, or BPM. The resting heart rate is considered an indicator of cardiorespiratory or aerobic fitness because it tends to be lower in individuals who are more aerobically fit. So we're going to have Jacob sitting in a chair in a nice comfortable position. We're going to have him sitting so that his back is against the backrest, arms just in a relaxed position for 5 minutes prior to doing this assessment. So now that it has been about 5 minutes, we are going to palpate the radial pulse. So we're going to go on the left side. To find the radial pulse, it's about a centimeter just below the wrist, right next to the radius. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure with my right hand, so the index finger and the middle finger. I'm going to place a little bit of pressure. Okay, I can feel a radial pulse. So we're going to start our count with a 0 beat. So we start the time after we feel the first beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, 22 beats per minute. Now, just to make sure that this was not done in error, I'm also going to palpate onto the carotid. Now, the carotid is located right next to the larynx and the sternocleidomastoid. The sternocleidomastoid is that muscle that when you tilt your neck, attaches the clavicle to the base of the skull. So what I'm going to have to do is just tilt the client's head a little sideways. We can see the larynx and we can find the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid. Now, I'm able to palpate with my index and middle finger, and I'm able to push just a little bit of pressure. I'm able to find the carotid. Now, same procedure applies. We're going to start on a 0 count and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So the second assessment we are going to do is resting blood pressure. Blood pressure is the force of blood against the arteries when the heart contracts to pump blood out to the rest of the body. It is usually measured at the brachial artery heart level and is expressed in millimeters of mercury, or mmHg. The systolic blood pressure, which is the top number, is the maximum pressure the heart exerts on the arteries when it contracts. The diastolic pressure is the minimum pressure of the arteries when the heart relaxes. Okay, so to begin, we're going to have Jacob sitting in a nice comfortable chair, feet and legs uncrossed, laying on the floor, and since we're in chairs that can't reach the floor, you'll just sit on the leg rest. You're going to be in a nice relaxed position. I need a bare left arm, so I would get you to roll up your sleeve for me. Put your palm facing up, left hand on the table. Okay, awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the blood pressure cuff around the brachial artery. So I'm just going to palpate with my left hand, the index and middle finger. I'm going to try to locate the brachial artery. Yeah, I can feel a pulse there. So we're going to wrap the cuff around the arm, making sure that it's snug and that it has an equal wrap around all sides. Now, I do not have access to a manual blood pressure cuff and stethoscope, so I am going to use an automated one. I will just go through the steps for the use of a manual cuff. Okay, so we'll just start it, and then I'll describe the procedures as we go along. So what I would do if I was manually doing it, I would put my hands down, I would feel for a radial pulse, I would inflate the cuff with my right hand until I can no longer feel a radial pulse. Once I can no longer feel a radial pulse, I would put in stethoscope. As like I said, I don't have a stethoscope, so I would use, I'm just going to demonstrate with headphones. So I would place the diaphragm of the stethoscope on the brachial artery right below the cuff. Now, I would let out very, very slowly at a rate of 2 millimeters of mercury per second on the cuff. Systolic blood pressure is the first perception of sound that you hear. So you're going to hear a slight tapping. Now, you're going to keep releasing. Once that tapping sound goes into a constant contraction, that is the diastolic pressure. Okay, so we can see from the machine that Jacob has a blood pressure of 123/85. The third assessment that we are going to perform is a waist circumference. There's a lot of evidence that would suggest that abdominal fatness or visceral fat is a more important determinant of health than overall body fatness. We will also be doing a BMI calculation in the results section, so it will come, just hang on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Jacob clear the abdomen of clothing, so we're gonna have him pull his shirt up. He's gonna cross his arms in a relaxed position, so right hand over left shoulder, left hand over right shoulder. Now I'm gonna kneel down. Now I'm going to palpate so I can find the iliac crest on the right side, and I'm also going to palpate so I can find the iliac crest on the opposing side. Now I'm going to take my anthropomorphic tape and I'm going to stretch it around the body. I'm going to pull it snug. Now, the client is going to take a relaxing, slow breath. Come over and take a step this way, if you don't mind. Take a nice, relaxing breath in, and then let out. And we pull tight, make sure. All right. So, our client had a 40-inch measurement. For the fourth assessment, we are supposed to perform a cycloergometry assessment. I do not have access to a cycloergometer, so I've contacted the instructor and it was approved to perform a different aerobic assessment. So today we are going to perform the Ebeling single-stage walking treadmill test. This test is a submaximal test to estimate VO2 max in low-risk non-athletic adults aged 20 to 59. To start the assessment, we are going to secure a heart rate monitor on the client, and then we are going to go through a bit of an explanation of the protocols of the assessment. So we're going to do a little bit more up, so we're going to keep your heart rate between 50 and 70%. So you are 22, so age predicted max heart rate is 220 minus 22 equals 198. 50% of 198 is 99, so, and 70% of 198 is 136, so we're going to try to keep your heart rate between 136 and 190. 4 minutes walking on the treadmill at 0% grade, you can start. If you're at steady state between the 3rd and 4th minute, we will be able to move on. We're going to pump the treadmill up to a 5% grade, walk for another 4 minutes. Between the 3rd and 4th minute, if you are at steady state, you're going to be able to stop and you move into active recovery, which you drop back down to the 0% grade, and you have to keep your heart rate below the safe cutoff, which is in the 110 RPE. 115 RPE. 112. 16. RPE. Okay, so we're within steady state, so we can raise the treadmill 5% rate. We are going to be walking this pace for 4 minutes. If your heart rate is between steady state, third and fourth minute, you're going to be doing a rapid recovery. RPE 6. Up 30. RPE 6. 5. RPE 6. 135. RPE 6. Alright, cool. So within 5 minutes. So we're able to drop 0% grade. We're going to drop the speed just a little bit. So we're down to like 2.5. We're going to then back recover. Drop it down. 98. Cool. We can stop it because we are below the safe cutoff. The fifth assessment that we are going to perform is the push-ups test. The push-ups test is a measure of muscular endurance of the chest. So shoulders, arms, and the chest. Muscular endurance is important in performing everyday tasks such as carrying groceries from your car to your house, shoveling snow, anything that requires repeated submaximal contractions over a prolonged period. So what we're going to have do is lay on the floor, face down. Now, the palms of your hands are going to be directly under your shoulders, facing down, fingers facing forward. So I would like you to have your hands come in just a little bit more. Okay, now when you push up, you're not going to flare your elbows outwards. You're going to keep your elbows in as tight as you can. So for the rep to count, your chest must touch the ground and you must have the arms fully extended. Since you are a male, the pivot point is going to be from your feet and toes. So that means the back needs to stay in a straight line and it needs to come up at the same time as your legs. So if you wouldn't mind showing me an example of a push-up. Perfect. Yep. Okay, now stop. Are you ready to perform the assessment?
Yes.
What you're going to do is just push up as many as you can. Okay? Go ahead. 1. No, you have to go all the way down. 1. 2. 3. Okay, so the sixth assessment that we are going to perform is a one-legged stance test. The one-legged stance test is a simple, valid, and reliable method to assess balance or any impairments. Balance on one limb requires balance, leg strength, coordination, and integration from the visual, vestibular, and muscle and joint complex. So balancing on a single limb is essential to have a normal gait and is critical for activities of daily living. So we're going to have Jacob stand beside or right behind a chair just so that if he loses his balance, he's able to grab onto something and he won't fall over. So we're going to have actually bare feet, so take off your socks, please. Now, the client is going to, when he is ready, going to stand on one foot next to the chair, holding over top. The arms must be crossed just like they were in the waist circumference assessment. He's going to stand on one foot for 45 seconds if he can. Now, there are a couple of rules that I will have to stop the examination. If the leg touches the balancing leg, if the leg touches the floor, or if there's a big wobble, I'm going to have to stop the assessment. Okay, so you're going to perform it on the right leg, you're going to perform it on the left leg, you're going to perform on the right leg with the eyes closed, you're going to perform the left leg, eyes closed. If you lose balance within the first 3 seconds of the assessment, we can try this over. Okay, so I will pull up a timer here for you. And I I would like you to start balancing on the right leg, arms crossed, please. And go. Time. 45 seconds. Perfect. So there is no wobble, there is perfect there. Let's go left leg, arms crossed, lift the leg, and go. Just wobbled over at the very end, but that's okay. We were at 45 seconds. That's all right. Okay, so we're gonna perform the exact same assessment. Cross the arms, but with your eyes closed. Now remember, there is a chair just to your right if you wobble over. Okay, and lift up. Nope, that was within the first 3 seconds. So we're gonna have you try that one again. Okay. So cross, close your eyes, lift up the leg. Okay, 13.15 seconds. It's a little bit more difficult, right? Okay, so now we're going to do the exact same thing, but the opposite leg lifted. Arms crossed, eyes closed, and lift. Nope, it's within the first 3 seconds, so that's okay. We can redo it. Shake it out, get out of your center balance. Arms crossed, eyes closed, and lift. Nope, that's okay. Want to try one more time?
No, that's
No?
the bad ankle.
It's the bad ankle, so we know that he's had ankle problems with that side before. The assessment we're going to perform is a back extension test. The back extension test is a measure of isometric endurance of the trunk extensor muscles. Lower back pain is a significant health public concern, so there's evidence that suggests that good isometric trunk endurance may help to prevent lower back pain. So for this assessment, we are going to perform the screening portion of the back extension. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the client lying face down with their hands extended in front of them. So go ahead, lay on the ground for me. Hands spread, facing forward. Okay, now I want you to raise your left hand. Any pain?
Nope.
Not that high, just about to here. Any pain?
Nope.
Okay, please set her down. Right hand, lift it up. That's good there. Any pain?
Nope.
Okay, put it down. Left leg, lift up a little bit for me. That's good. Any pain?
Nope.
Set it down. Right leg, lift up. Any pain?
Nope.
Set it down, please. Okay, so now we're going to do a contralateral movement. So you're going to lift your left arm and your right leg. Please lift. Any pain?
Nope.
Please set down. Okay, now your right arm and your left leg. Any pain?
Nope.
Please set down. Okay, so now I'm going to have you lift all up at once. Any pain?
Nope.
Please set it down. Alright, we can assume that there was no pain in any of these motions, so the client is safe to perform the back extension assessment.